Good morning, everyone. So today I am going to be making the pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. I do use a little bit different ingredients than a lot of people do, but it's the way I've always made it for my kids, and it will be how I make it today. I will be making a double pie crust because I'm going to make a Dutch apple pie also for my husband, and I just want to go ahead and have two crusts done at one time. So, hope you enjoy. Hi, I'm Karen, and this is Grandma's New England Kitchen. First thing to go ahead and make a double pie crust is I'm going to need 360 grams of sifted flour. So I went ahead and measured out about 450 grams, and I'm going to go ahead and grind that now, and then we'll sift it and see what we end up with. That is all ground. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the sifter, and I will measure the flour as it's coming out, and hopefully I can get to 360. And everyone has seen me do this before, so I didn't think I really needed to move the camera around. It does take a little while, so most of this I will edit out. The main reason for doing this is you want a nice flaky crust. If you leave all of the bran and germ in it, you're not going to get a flaky crust. At least not as flaky as I would like it. There's going to be flour down in here that I still have to scoop down, but as I've talked about before, when you're done, you have some bran and germ left in here. Don't throw this away. I save it, I put it in a jar, it goes into my refrigerator, and when I bake bread, this is what I put down on the parchment paper when I put the bread down before I bake it. It gets some bran back into the bread that you've sifted out to get a nice fluffy loaf, but it's just, you can even make bran muffins out of it. Don't throw it away. Let me get the rest of this flour down in here and see how much I end up with. And I think I'm going to be a little short, so I'm going to have to grind some more. I'm 30 grams short. Hold on. $336. So I'm 24 grams short. So I'm going to go ahead and grind just a little bit more, sift it out, and then I'll be back when I have the 360 grams. I'm going to go ahead and do the double pie crust, and I'll be using the food processor for this once I get the top off. I have a question. Does anybody else have a Vitamix food processor and this part seems to be broken? It falls apart on me all the time and I have to hold it down. Oh, I digress. For the pie crust, we have the 300, and the blade is in here, 360 grams of the flour that we just milled and sifted. To that, I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of sugar, and this is an organic cane sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Again, I'm doing a double crust, so I have one already made for another pie. And then 4 teaspoons of cornstarch. That just lightens the flour up a little bit. And I will go ahead and put this on and get this blended together. Okay, come on. Oh, good. Okay, so that is all blended together. That's what I'm talking about. This part does not stay down. Now I have 234 grams of frozen butter that I'm going to add down in here. And then pulse it about 8 times. And what you end up with are chunks of butter down in here. And that's all the way through. Here's some bigger chunks, but they'll break up when I add the water in. But for the majority, they're like pea size. Now I'm going to add the water. And the water is about 108 grams of ice water. There was ice in here. And it's basically turn it on and run it until it forms a ball. There we go. Okay, so it's all coming together. And what you want to be able to do is when you pull it out, that you can squeeze it and it all sticks together. So this is good and ready. Now, there's flour on here, but this was washed. Okay, so now we will take this out. Take the blade out. Be careful. And then just dump it out on the counter. And then just bring it all together. Now, since I am doing 2 crusts, then I want to weigh it so I can get them about as even as possible. 760 grams. So 300 and, nope, 380? I can't think that quick. And yeah, 380. I was right. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this down the middle and see. It's 309. 326. 370. 380 exactly. I'll make sure this one's 380. 381. It seems to turn out that way. It's always off by just a little bit. Okay, put these aside to clean them up. Okay, so you want to form this into a disc. And I know from there you can't see it, but there's nice little pieces of butter all the way throughout. I'm just trying not to get any extra flour into it right now. When we go to roll it out, we'll be putting flour down. Okay. And let's get some plastic wrap. Okay, I'm going to go and put these in the refrigerator. And they need to sit for about 2 hours. And then we will bring them out and roll them out. So I'll see you in a little bit. It's time to roll out the dough. It's been resting in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And dust the marble. Make sure you put enough flour down so it doesn't stick. Okay. So if you get cracks in it like this, just go ahead and kind of patch them together. Some nice flakes of butter through here. So that's definitely big enough. So let's go ahead and get it rolled up. It's okay if the edges are not perfect. And just roll it back out on there. Okay, so there's definitely some extra dough here. What I'll do is cut off some of the extra. And then just fold it under. As you can see, it wasn't too bad. It's not a big deal that it cracked on the edges as I was rolling it out. So that most of that you're going to be trimming off. And so now just take it, go around. Okay, so there's the pie crust all ready. And I'm going to go and put this in the refrigerator and let it sit and set up again and get everything ready for the filling. And we'll be back shortly to get the pie put together. Let's go ahead and get the pie filling done. So what I have in here is a 29-ounce can of pumpkin puree. Some years I actually go and get a pie pumpkin, bake it, puree it. I just didn't this year, so it is just a can of pumpkin puree. Do not get pumpkin pie filling. Make sure you get pumpkin puree. Then to this, we're going to put in 1/4 cup of sugar. And I know that's not much sugar when it comes to a pumpkin pie, but you'll see here in a second why. And then 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. And we do a lot of cinnamon in it. This is 1/2 teaspoon of clove, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Again, this is my ginger that I buy fresh, peel it, dry it, and then grind it as I need it. So then that goes in there. Let me get this mixed in some. Don't have to be perfect right now. So what I use, most people use evaporated milk. I use sweetened condensed milk. That is why I do not put much sugar in. So, whole can of sweetened condensed milk. I just think it adds a depth of flavor much better than just adding condensed milk to it. Or evaporated milk, sorry. Okay, let's get that stirred in. And then last is going to be 4 eggs. And I do like to do my eggs separately before I put them in. And you don't have to mix them separately. I just like to make sure I don't get any shells. These are eggs from my chickens. Yolks aren't as orange this time of year because, well, we have to keep them pinned up because we don't want the flocks or hawks and everything getting them. So they're not out foraging on bugs and all that. So I will get these all mixed up in here. There we go. That is all blended. Get it down into the pie crust. And this is a deep dish pie. That is why I went with the full 29-ounce can of pumpkin. Ooh. If you're doing just a regular size pie, that's not a deep dish, I would make, if you're cut it in half, if you're still using a 28-ounce, it's going to make 2 pie or 29-ounce pumpkin. In this recipe, you're going to need to use 2 pie shells. But with going with the deep dish, it's just 1. This is going to puff up as it cooks. I've never in the past had a problem with it overflowing, but I always take precautions. So this is now going to go into the oven it's preheated at 425 degrees. It will go on for 10 minutes at that temperature, and then it will get reduced down to 350 degrees for another 40 to 50 minutes. So I will bring you back probably halfway through. I will put this thing going around it. I'm just not going to do it yet. I'll see how the crust ends up browning. But I'll be back as soon as it's done. Ooh, steam. Okay. So there is the pie. It's still baking. It's not quite done yet. It has about, it says 10 minutes, but it's probably going to be 20 more minutes. So I'll bring you back when it's all done. So I did go ahead and put the ring around the edge. The crust is browning just a little bit more than I'd like before the pie is done. Okay, so the pumpkin pie is out of the oven. It's very hot, and I cannot cut into it. One, because it's hot, and two, because it's for Thanksgiving. Hopefully, I film us cutting into this on Thanksgiving, but I'll get some whipped cream and put it on the top. But the crust turned out very nice. And here's the pumpkin pie. So here's what the pumpkin pie looks like sliced. We've pretty much already eaten all of it, but I wanted to make sure I got a picture so you could see the side view of it. It is very good, and I hope you enjoy it.